Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello. Hello. How are you guys doing? Well, I hope everyone is doing well. You're having a great day. All the things, guys. All the things. It's what I hope for you. Hold on. Because your girl is on her hippie. I'm on my hippie vibes. Sitting up under a big behind tree. A super big tree. It's providing me all the shade that I need. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I don't have my headphones in because I didn't want nothing in my ear. We're about to get started in a minute. Hey, Run Buddy. How are you doing? Well, I hope. Whew. It's a hot day today. You can hear me? Cool beans. A little on the hot side. Hey, baby, it's she. Hey, chat. Happy Monday here listening at work. Cool beans. Hey, in the safe zone. How are you doing? Thank you for coming. Girl, I'm sitting crisscross applesauce underneath a mother freaking tree. Hold on. Yes, happy Monday. Start of a fresh start. Start of a brand new week. Never mind what may have occurred last week. Because it's a new week. Duh. I am well. I pray all is well with you as well. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, girl, I'm just rocking out. Literally. I am rocking out underneath this tree. I'm not worried about what somebody may think if they walk by and see me underneath this tree, chilling like a villain. Chilling like a villain. So let's get started. And hopefully it doesn't kick me out. Mm-mm-mm. So yeah, the topic for this afternoon, we're going to be discussing what are the mental effects of being mistreated. Okay. Who is hot? Let's see. I think it was with this other window I wanted to go with. Sorry, guys. Mm-mm-mm. It may not be this one. Sorry, hold on, y'all. Okay. So it says mistreatment severely impacts the brain's alarm system, leading to a hyperactive, I don't know if I'm saying this word right, amog, amygdala, 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 that perceives consistent danger. So that part of the brain is on super go. This prolonged trauma frequently manifests as chronic anxiety, depression, complex PTSD, and profound self doubt, heavily subverting self esteem, sleep quality, and overall cognitive function. Okay? And if you guys didn't see the replay, or if you weren't in the live we did last night, we discussed what is mental wealth. What does that mean? We did that last night. Okay, so I just read the definition. Well, not even necessarily definition. Guess you can say like starter paragraph for what we're discussing. Like I said, we're discussing the mental effects of being mistreated. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what the word mistreated means. All right, it says the mental effects of being mistreated or subjected to psychological abuse include, they gave us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. They listed 6 of them for us. Because like I talked about before, a lot of people, well, I can't say a lot, but there's a good majority of people who either are not aware to the fact that how they treat other people can have a effect on their mental health, or on their mental health, or they just simply don't care. And then this also brings awareness to people who are on the receiving end of that mistreatment, so that way they can understand that, that mistreatment that they are receiving could easily be the cause or the source of whatever they may have going on up top. And if they don't have anything going on up top, but yet they are receiving, they're being mistreated by somebody or by people, it could be something that is stewing and brewing and just hasn't reared to the top, so to say, rear its head to the top, if that makes sense. Hold on. Okay, so let's see. Like Amy, Amy Jidala. I don't know. Amy Jidala. I'm gonna have them say it for me. All right, so question. If you are aware and you take responsibility, then what does that make you? If it did happen with malicious intent, that would just mean that, you did a bad act or a bad deed towards somebody and you're trying to make it right. Nobody's perfect. People do things. And obviously, if it didn't happen with malicious intent. Well, we spoke about, or at least I spoke about that word intent. I think I touched on it you know, I touched on it a lot. People can say after they do something or they say something to somebody, that wasn't my intent. I didn't intend on making you feel this way or for that to happen. And that's all fine and dandy if that wasn't your intent. But intent don't really have too much to do with the results, you know? Just like if you um, break the law, but you're able to prove in the courts that you didn't have any ill intent, that law was still broke, right? So there's consequences for that. And in the context you're talking about, all you can do is, like you said, acknowledge what it is that you did and be genuine about it and apologize, you know, and they may have some questions for you, Have that conversation if there's a conversation to be had, and they're either going to forgive you or they're not going to forgive you. And sometimes, depending on what was done, they may not forgive you, or it may take time. But I respect somebody who can acknowledge that they did something messed up and try to, apologize and make it better and be genuine about it, than somebody who just says, oh, well, I don't think that's possible. And you know what? Sometimes that is the case. But in that situation, all one can do is just try to make it right. Because once you extend that olive branch, your part of it, so to say, is done. The onus is on that other person to decide if they want to accept the olive branch that you done extended, and then try to not do no bullcrap again to to the next person. Don't be a repeat offender, so to say. All right, let's see. Hey, FNM. Good afternoon. FNM's going to be going live tonight. You still going live tonight, right, sis? Yeah, you got it scheduled. And if you can, FNM, drop your link in the chat, please. She's going to be going live tonight. It's going to be great. And I would highly suggest that everybody, if you don't have nothing going on, that you be in attendance for that. All right, cool beans. Go ahead and drop your link in the chat for me. Hey, Flying Low. Good afternoon. How are you doing? Well, I hope. I dig it. And like I said, all you can do is apologize genuinely, extend the olive branch, and go from there. All right, so let's continue. All right. The mental effects of being mistreated or subjected to psychological abuse include cognitive dissonance, and self-doubt. Tactics, like gaslighting, make victims question their own memory, sanity, and reality, leading to deep feelings of confusion and guilt. If you guys don't know what gaslighting is or what that means, just Google it. Even though I'm pretty sure everybody does, or at least has an idea. I call it playing in my face. The next one, and we're going over the mental effects of being mistreated. Hypervigilance and anxiety. The brain's fight or flight response goes into overdrive. This results in panic attacks, phobias, and feeling like you are quote unquote walking on eggshells. Okay, the next one is depression and apathy. Depression and apathy. Chronic devaluation and helplessness often lead to a profound loss of hope, loss of interest in previously enjoyed activities, and suicidal ideation. Do you guys know what suicidal ideation means? Hmm. Encouragement and affirmation. Yes. Tonight's gonna be great. You didn't do nothing to me, buddy. Or did you? What did you do to me? Hmm. Better not have done nothing, because you know I take forever to get over things. Said exactly. Okay, never heard of it. All that suicidal ideation means someone is having heavy thoughts about unaliving themselves. They haven't acted on them thoughts yet. But no, I'm not sure if this is a thing for sure, but I would like to say, let me say that I'm not sure, but I would like to say that a good majority of unalive of people who either unalive themselves or have attempts made to unalive themselves, usually I would say they start off with having the thoughts of it, you know. They definitely would have some suicidal ideations going on, unless it's a situation to where they just acted on it. You know what I mean? They didn't really spend too much time thinking about it. It was a spur of the moment, quick, boom, this is what I'm about to try to do, or this is what I'm going to do. Okay? But that's what that means. You have been, or you have had thoughts of unaliving yourself. You said I was a troll. Oh, please. What's beef? Don't get me started. F and M. All right, and like I said, we're going over some of the mental effects of being mistreated, or subjected to psychological abuse. We already went over cognitive dissonance, self-doubt, hypervigilance and anxiety, depression and apathy. Next is damaged self, damaged sense of self, damaged sense of self. Constant criticism and undermining destroy self-esteem. And that wouldn't be constructive criticism, because there's a difference between constructive criticism and someone just ragging on you. And that's why I like to say you're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. Hold on. You could still hold somebody to account or lay out a bit of criticism but at the same time having it be in a constructive way, giving ideas as to how they could make the situation a little better, improve it, or improve themselves, or whatever the case may be, as opposed to just ragging on them. Okay? Two things could be true. Let's see. Oh, yes. Leading to extreme self-hate, shame, and feelings of worthlessness. Okay? Next is isolation and distrust. Mistreatment fosters a fear of relationships, causing victims to shut others out and withdraw from social and educational opportunities, which sucks. Because at that point, they done basically became recluses, you know? They done became recluses. And in a way, they're blocking their blessings. They're blocking their blessings and missed opportunities, missed relationships, because, they're stuck dealing with the effects of how they were treated by other people. That's unfortunate. All right, lastly, it says coping behaviors. Victims are at a higher risk for developing unhealthy coping mechanisms, including substance abuse, eating disorders, or self-harm. Hold on. Because I want to see if there's some more that we can touch on in regards to this. Because I feel like this is very important, and it definitely ties into mental health awareness. Because like we talked about before, with a lot of, if not most of the things we have discussed so far, these are not things that people are born with. These are things that develop over time, some quicker than others, depending on the extent of the situations that they are dealing with. Um, but a lot of these are developed over time throughout one's life experiences. Hold on. So yes, I do feel like this is very important without us touching on a set disorder for this go around. All right, we can talk about neurological changes. The first one, well, we already discussed hyperactive amygdala. Says the brain's alert system gets stuck in overdrive, detecting danger even in safe, neutral environments. That sucks. Like you're just always, like your head is always on a swivel. You're not ever able to just chill, relax, be in the moment. That sucks. Weakened prefrontal cortex. Chronic stress reduces your ability to regulate emotions, solve problems, and handle daily pressures logically. Okay. Lastly, they have for us hippocampus shrinkage. And obviously, if you guys want to Google separately or look up separately these parts of the brain or these things that anything that I'm discussing, I always encourage people to trust but verify and to do your own research as well. You know, duh. Hippocampus shrinkage. The areas of the brain managing memory and contextualizing safe versus unsafe situations weaken over time. The areas of the brain managing memory and contextualizing safe versus unsafe situations weaken over time, which is why you could, like they said, you could be in a quote unquote safe situation where you should be able to just enjoy yourself and be a wee bit comfortable, and you're not able to enjoy it and be comfortable at all. Okay. Immediate emotional toll. Immediate emotional toll. Okay. We already went over some of these, but I don't mind reiterating a bit. Erosion of identity. Erosion. Erosion of identity. Who you are, the person you are, is just being broken down over time. Hold on. Slowly but surely, little bits of yourself is being broken off. Hold on. And let's see. Hey, Uncle L. Good afternoon. How are you doing? Well, I hope. Calling you a troll hurt your feelings. My fault, run buddy. Let's see. That is true. Sometimes people can't take constructive criticism either. No, they can, but at least you know, if you know that you're shelling it out to them in a constructive way and you're not doing it just to be funny or be nasty or just to have something to say, you know, that's not really on you, especially if it's one of your people and you care for them and they care for you, like we talked about before. Sometimes some stuff needs to be shaken up, whether they like it or not. Okay, you said this is deep. maybe you can also be protecting yourself as well, V. What do you mean when you say you can also be protecting yourself, Runt Buddy? Experience can turn people very sensitive, paranoid, bitter, not realistic, socially awkward, and temperamental. Yes. And we spoke, I touched on before how it's so hard, especially when you're a good person and you operate in a genuine way. It's so hard to not allow for life experiences to harden you. You know what I mean? And it's like it's hard for it to not allow that to happen. But one must try because that's not a healthy thing. I definitely agree with you. And like I talked about earlier on, the messed up part about it is people who experience these things because of mistreatment that they have received wind up taking it out on somebody who did not cause all of these things. And it could be over, like I said earlier this morning, over what they may consider to be the simplest of things, but to the other person who has been enduring all these other things, that's the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, it's crazy. Um, if you isolate and avoid certain individuals, you can prevent yourself from having negative experiences. Yeah, and that's just where our discernment comes into play. You know what I mean? That's where discernment comes into play. That's where knowing who you're dealing with comes into play. But as far as just becoming a recluse in general, you're not doing nothing but hurting yourself and blocking your future blessings. Whether that is, you know, making making friends, like who are good people, dating, all of the things, because you may have had a few effed up experiences with friends or with somebody or people that you dealt with romantically or whatever have you. And while you're over there stagnant, stuck like Chuck, the world is moving around you. And it does not stop for nobody. The world is still moving. And talked about this before. Whoever the person or the people are that caused you this angst and mistreated you this way, which added to whatever you may have going on, they're living their best lives a good 9 times out of 10, not even worried or thinking about you in the slightest bit. So why would you sit there and be stagnant while all of these things are happening and occurring around you? Hold on. And boundaries are very important because most people who don't have boundaries and then who are not firm with their boundaries, they get walked all over. That is true. I do my best to tell people the truth because I don't want to see them go downhill or fall away, but sometimes people don't want the help. The onus is on us always. The onus will forever be on us, you know? And at the end of the day, F and M, if you genuinely try to help somebody and they don't, whether they don't want to receive the help or they're not in the right mind space or place in their life to be able to even actually accept the help, that's not on you. You did your part as opposed to just being a what do you call it? A bystander, you know, just watching somebody go downhill and you're not doing nothing, you're not saying nothing. Or, like I said, be one of the ones who basically attacking the person, but they're not trying to help at all or give any ideas or ways to help, you know? And I know that firsthand. Um, if you're prone to attract trouble or negativity, then staying clear may be best. Yeah, or just switch up. Sometimes we gotta switch it up. Sometimes we gotta switch it up. We discuss sometimes it's needed to hit that hard reset button, especially if the ways we have been moving haven't been working for us in a positive way. We haven't really been getting positive results. The people we've been dealing with haven't really been getting any positive. It's time to just switch it up. That doesn't mean to just lock yourself away. Switch it up. Don't put yourself in a box. Do some things you haven't done before that you never really thought to do. But I definitely dig what you're talking about. And when it comes to certain things, like somebody who doesn't want to smoke or drink anymore, that might mean that even though they still care for their friends or their family members or whoever, if when it's time for them to chill with their friends or their family members, if they can't respect the fact that you're trying not to drink anymore or you're trying not to smoke anymore and just do their little pregame or whatever before you come, or just make sure they're not doing it around you, then you may have to limit your time that you're spending with them until you get to a point where you're strong enough to where it doesn't matter if it's around you or not. You're not going to do it in that case. You know what I mean? If you are trying to be more positive, but a good amount of your folks, your peoples, your friends, your family, whatever, they're not on that type of time. No, we don't need to make them feel like shit, excuse my language, because they're not on the same time as you are. Um, but you may have to kindly remove yourself. And it's not personal, it's business. And if they care for you, they'll understand that. And it might even light a fire under their butt, like, okay, dang, I have to switch some stuff up my daggone self because I don't want them to not want to be around me or not feel like it's healthy to be around me, you know? The same way if it's somebody who would like to lose weight. That would mean if we have a friend group, you know, certain I'm not going to really be trying to do certain things that I was down to try to do, so to say, because my time might be spent doing other things. If you're trying to lose weight and your friends just want to party, whatever have you, it's like, no, I don't have time for that. I'd rather use that spare time to work out or meal prep, those type of things, you know what I mean? If y'all are out to eat and you getting something light, don't let nobody try to shame you. Whatever it is, the onus is on us to do something about it. You know what I mean? And sometimes you do have to love people from a distance if they are not productive or healthy for what you are trying to do and the spot you're trying to be at. And just make sure you verbalize to them it's not personal. And I'm not judging you because obviously I was in that same or similar space that you are in. I just don't want to be in that space anymore. So I got to switch it up. And it is what it is. A lot of people seem normal for the most part, but have underlying mental challenges. It could be anyone. Exactly. And I think this is very important, you know? And there's no bad stigma to it because it just is what it is. It's about being in the know. And then if you do have somebody in your life who may be experiencing certain things like this, context matters. At least if you can pinpoint or have an idea as to what it is they got going on, you may have a little more tolerance for their behavior or certain things rather than just saying F them. Or if it's you, rather than them just saying F you. I dig it. So that would just mean, Runt Buddy, you would just need to have more confident, more. You would just have to have a more confident male friend group, because a confident man and a man that's sure about themselves, they don't care what type of attention another man is getting from women or a woman. It ain't got nothing to do with them. If anything, they'll try to go and grab one or two for you. Yeah, it went through. So that may be what you have to do, which is nothing wrong with having, with a man that may want to have or just happens to have more female friends than male friends and vice versa. It just is what it is. Especially if they have the ability to have a platonic relationship with the person. Because there's a lot of grown people that act like they never got a piece of nothing before and just be walking around with their nose wide open. So therefore, they would lack the ability or have a hard time being friends with somebody of the opposite sex in a platonic way, regardless if they see that person as attractive or not. Hold on. Hey, SBK, good afternoon. How are you doing? Well, I hope. Thank you for coming. Yes, most people really don't tell people the truth out of concern. We touched on that yesterday. Yeah. And it's like, if I got to worry about your response to me keeping it a being with you, that's a whole other issue. Because people that are your folks and that genuinely care for you, then they're not saying nothing to you to try to be funny, you know? But then, like I said too, sometimes a mofo just gonna have to be mad, depending on the extent of what's going on. Sometimes you just gonna have to be mad, because I'm gonna have to give it to you real rap raw. And especially like we talked about, if it's somebody or people who are not accustomed to having people in their life who keeps it a being with them, who holds them accountable, you know, who holds their feet to the fire, who pushes them, those type of things. It just is what it is. But I dig how somebody wouldn't want to ruffle any feathers, because there are people who are timid like that. And that's why I talked about how it is very important to have a strong support system who not only will be there for you, but who will also hold you to account. My bad that I cussed. My bad. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to be around headaches all the time, hard heads all the time. Yeah, I dig it. And then unfortunately, there's some people who um they just have to learn, so to say. They just have to touch that stove. I forget if I did a live about that or not. If I did, I know I did, but I think I deleted it. I'm good for that. Some people, unfortunately, they don't take heed. They don't want to take heed. They just have to touch that stove. And all you can do is just try to be there for them. You don't need to say I told you so and rub it in their face and all that other stuff. Just be there for them and reiterate to them, when I was telling you what I was telling you, it wasn't because I just felt like having some shit to say. And now that you see that, let's take the appropriate steps to prevent this from happening again. Yes, awareness. Awareness is very important. I only interact with male relatives. I don't do male friends. And that's your prerogative, especially if you have a good amount of male relatives whom you are close with. It just is what it is. But I still want you to have the ability to have male friends. They would just have to be strong minded ones. There's not, that's another thing too. Not everybody is built to have a wide range of friends as far as personalities, all this other stuff. Some people do better with like minded people, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that they are just all gonna be around yes men or nobody, everybody has the same opinions and everything. But like minded as far as morals, beliefs, certain things. In your case, Run Buddy, it would be other men who are confident with themselves and whatnot. So they're not gonna hate if you get some attention from some ladies or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get their own little Rasta pasta, those type of things. SPK, I missed the live, bro. You're running back. Cool beans. Preach. I can't be real with you. I can't rock with you. Yeah, because it just is not going to really sit well with me, especially if I see you going in a way that I just know, like, it's terrible. I'm not the type to sit idly by while that is going down. And so it wouldn't be necessarily that I wouldn't be able to rock with you. It's just I'm going to say something. And then you probably are not going to want to rock with me. Johnny Blee's a good dude. Frank Nitty too. Cool beans. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a friend group who are like-minded. And really, I encourage that to a certain extent. Like, obviously, yes, still have differences, but as far as core things, like your values, your morals, your beliefs, yeah. If I'm not a thief and I don't steal shit, I want to be able to be in the store with people that I don't got to worry about making the block hot. Those type of things, you know what I mean? I don't go around just lying. I don't need anybody around me that likes to go around just lying. Let's see. Mm-mm-mm. So yeah, we already went over all of these things. I think we had a good conversation about these things, about this topic, because it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And there's so much more to get into in regards to this. So like I said, I do encourage people to do their own research as well. I really do. It can't hurt anything. Yep, that's a better way of putting it. If people get highly offended and play victim also. And it's just, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. And that's why I like to tell people to take heed, not offense, and understand the character of the person you're dealing with is keeping it a being with you. And if you know that this person cares for you and they mean you well, and they're not just going to be saying, like I said, stuff to you just all willy nilly. Oh, you guys can't hear me? My bad. And they're not going to just be saying stuff to you all willy nilly just for the hoot of it. Then why not give that a thought? You know what I mean? Even if you don't subscribe to everything that this person is saying in regards to you, do you not have the ability to take what you need from it? And then if you're not sure as to why they are saying these things, what do you mean? You say, what do you mean? Why are you saying this to me? And a genuine person who is saying these things to you will have the ability to tell you what they mean and why they are saying these things and what type of behavior they are seeing and they notice coming from you. That is not cool. Hold on. I'm about to put my headphones in. Hopefully they work. Hold on. Can y'all hear me? Let me see. Uh, I might not. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Okay. Y'all should be able to hear me now. You said, I bet Blaze in the clouds ready to get you off topic, B. He's probably either working or resting. That's a hard working man. I hope you guys were able to get something out of this, because I feel like it's very important. I really do. And I know I got something out of it. And also when people understand and realize the type of effects mentally being mistreated or allowing yourself to be mistreated can have on you, whether that's instantly or over time, that also may light some fire under their to apply some boundaries to their life. Because most people who have been mistreated to the point where it's affected their mental, they either had a lack of boundaries or they weren't firm with whatever boundaries they did have or they do have. Hold on. That's what I gather. It doesn't make it a fact. That's just my opinion. Because when you do have strong boundaries that you set and make clear from the jump, it real to me, in my opinion, it really does liken the chances of you receiving you know, open disrespect, all wild and crazy, or being mistreated or disregarded all wild and crazy because you already done made it very clear that you're not going for that. You know, that's not a thing that's going to be taking place with you. You try that with somebody else. Sis, I will see you later. Great show. Thank you. I'm about to get off of here. So that's another reason why this is important. You say yes, we need more of this. Cool beans. So yeah, I'm getting out of here, guys. And like I said, F&M is going live tonight between, I think she said 6 and 7. Just keep an eye out. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I'll check y'all later. Thank you for coming. Bye.